What's going on, champs and champettes? It's FireMonkey here, and recently a out-of-the-blue hotfix update has been released for Fortnite that changes a lot of things, buffs some weapons, nerfs some others, and in today's YouTube video, I'm going to give you the rundown on everything that's actually changed, because it was a pretty decent amount of stuff that actually changed here, and some of the things I'm kind of excited for. Now, first thing I am going to mention here is that even though some weapons like waterbending have been updated and actually buffed with this hotfix, waterbending has not been made more common. So if you're someone who was struggling to find it for the first, like hour or two that you're playing like me, then that is going to still kind of be an issue here and there. Some games I find all the time now, but other games, it's still super duper rare, and they haven't really messed with the rarity of it and finding it in normal matches or anything as of yet, so that isn't the change that's happened here. However, for the first set of changes, I'll go ahead and pop this image on screen right now, where you can see that waterbending and the Chain of Hades has been buffed. Firstly, for the Chain of Hades, the first hit now does 55 damage instead of 40, the second hit also does 55 damage instead of 40, and the third hit does 80 damage instead of 60. And then whenever you do the secondary attack where you can actually drag someone towards you, instead of it doing 40 damage, I think it was, it's now going to do a total of 60 damage. So the Chain of Hades is just a lot more powerful overall. And then waterbending as well has been massively buffed with this little bit of an update. Now, the specific changes that happened to waterbending, if you didn't get the image that was on the screen, was that the fire rate was increased by 20%, the damage was increased by 2 per hit, so instead of doing 22 damage each time you hit an enemy, you'll now be doing 24. They increased the crit damage multiplier by 0.25 times, meaning instead of, what it was before, which is 1.5 times, you'll now be able to do 36 damage per crit hit, aka whenever you get a headshot with the weapon, and I think that is a pretty nice buff. So, overall, the weapon just kind of shoots faster, it actually does more damage, and it's a lot more reliable. But on top of that, the projectile speed has been doubled, so whenever you actually shoot out some water from the actual mythic, it is going to actually travel further a lot faster, and the hit scan distance has been buffed by 6.25 times, with an original distance of 4 all the way up to 25 now. So if you're someone who's trying to actually hit someone properly, you'll be a lot more accurate at those longer ranges compared to how it was before this hotfix actually ended up releasing. And I do think that's a pretty nice buff to actually see from the weapon, because if it's going to continue to be as rare as it is right now, might as well at least make it worth the rarity, right? And I do think that how it was before was already pretty good, but these changes just make it one of my favorite mythics right now. It makes it one of my favorite items to really use in the game, because on top of it being able to pack a punch and deal quite a bit of damage, you're also able to allow it to heal you whenever you're standing in water. So, it's just becoming more and more of an overpowered item, and I'm all here for it. But of course, that isn't the only changes that happened this update, because if we go ahead and look at this screenshot, we can see some nerfs that actually ended up happening. Firstly, the Frenzy Auto Shotgun has been nerfed with its fire rate decreased by 0.20, meaning that it's going to shoot slightly slower. Some people might not be able to tell a difference, some people will be able to tell a difference depending on how often you use it, but it will shoot slower, and the crit damage multiplier whenever you get a headshot has been lowered by 0.10, meaning that whenever you get a headshot, it's just going to do slightly less damage, and I do think it's going to be interesting to see how it actually plays out in matches. And since we have this right here, we can kind of get an example. As you can see right there with all the pellets that actually hit them, it did 101 damage, but of course, depending on how accurate you are with it, it can do different ones. We're seeing values around like 52, 68, and all that type of stuff here, and of course, from further ranges, still around the 70s, 30-ish, 40-ish, and everything else, so it's not like it's entirely useless, but it has definitely gotten a slight nerf here and there that just kind of makes it something more that you might not enjoy using in your matches. And then when it comes to the Reaper Sniper Rifle, they've actually done more changes than what you saw in that image, which was them nerfing it, making the bullet speed slower, making the bullet drop off faster, and everything else, but they've also made it 1.6 times less likely to actually obtain it from chest. In turn of doing this whole entire change and making it rarer, they went ahead and made the hand cannon 1.6 times more common from chest, and also fixed a bug that was going on with the hand cannon that caused it to not actually show up in a rare chest at all. So if you ever went to the bunkers, sometimes you might be able to find the hand cannon from like the mod benches and everything, but you were unable to find it from a rare chest because it just literally wasn't in the loot pool until now. You could still find it from normal chests and everything else, which is how a lot of people typically found it, and you could find it from floor loot, but now that bug has actually been fixed and you're able just to find it normally in the game, so it is nice to see these little changes here and there are actually getting fixed up and everything else, so that even though we didn't know it was a bug and no one really reported on it, we are able to kind of just enjoy the weapon in a more common factor. But it is interesting to see how they've been constantly nerfing the Reaper Sniper Rifle, right? It feels like every single time I hear news about the Reaper Sniper Rifle or any sniper rifle in chapter 5 or chapter 4 basically, it's always, oh, this has been nerfed, this has been nerfed, this has been nerfed, instead of anything about it getting buffed, right? There was like one buff here or there that happened a long time ago, and that buff has basically been reverted by today's nerf. So I would love to hear in the comments down below, what do you feel about how they've been making these changes to the snipers? Do you think the reason they're doing this is because they want people to prioritize using stuff like the Huntress DMR, or do you think that's just like a weird little theory and they're just doing it to kind of balance out the game because these snipers, as they currently were already too overpowered? I'd love to hear your opinions in the comments down below. But other than that, we really didn't get too much going down here. You know, there wasn't really too much in terms of news. We got news that Katara is going to be one of the skins that actually release in the item shop from the whole entire Avatar The Last Airbender collab dropping April 12th, so that's exciting. But other than that, you know, there hasn't really been too much going on here. So I hope you champs and chambits enjoyed today's little news recap. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow with another upload. Peace out.